So good evening and welcome to the Down the Lane podcast. Tonight it's just me and Miles, and we will be joined shortly by Steve King, our gaffer, manager, boss, or whatever you want to call him. Unfortunately, Bobby can't be with us tonight. Other things on his agenda, and all will become apparent soon. But yeah, just me and you tonight, Miles. So good evening.
Indeed. Good evening, Baz. It's been a good few weeks. I can't remember the last time we did one of these. I think it was probably, I don't know, back end of May into June. Plenty has happened since. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, and of course we did our with the last one we did was people may have seen it or may not have seen it, but was the live stream on the first World Cup game, of course,
hmm
and that is going very very well. I see you sitting there in New England kit, and obviously we'll be discussing that later when Steve is with us. So before Steve joins us, obviously we've got a few players that we haven't yet spoken about that we've signed. Um, there's a number. We've got Darren McQueen, we've got Zach Tarrant, Lewis Carey, and of course, Matthew Hayden. So, what's your thoughts on Matthew Hayden? To start off with, Matthew.
Yeah, a player we've had some history with, first of all. Played against us in the Senior Cup semi-final last season down at Lancing. From what I remember, had quite a solid game. Kept Kai Corbett fairly quiet on the right hand side for him, left hand side for Kai, of course. Looks like a physical right back. Someone's got quite good presence. I imagine he's worked quite a lot on his ball playing ability as well, being a Brighton youth prospect. Obviously, they like to play out. They played out for many years now under multiple coaches like De Zerbi, under Herzl now, Graham Potter. So it'd be part of their philosophy. Players do that. So I imagine that's part of Steve's thinking. Obviously quite young. Hasn't had a lot of first team experience, but did have a spell at Dagenham. He seems like he was pretty well received by Dagenham fans. Obviously, they had quite a poor season by their standards generally, so it's probably quite a hard one to judge of how he actually did. But at least he had a bit of first team football under his belt. A great opportunity for him, being a local-ish lad, I'd imagine, coming to a team that should be at the top next season, playing with a lot of experienced pros around him, especially in defence with likes of Phipps, Elliot Johnson, the keeper, Lewis Carey, etc. So yeah, hopefully he fits right in to our defence on the right hand side. Because I think he probably will be starting right back from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, and so you just mentioned there one of the others, Lewis Carey,
hmm
obviously back with us. Played for us for 3 or 4 seasons back in the mid 2010s. Over 100 games for us, and was player of the season for us one year. So, yeah, what's your thinking on Lewis?
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I think he probably left just about as I started going to games. I remember my first keeper who was between the sticks was Mark Smith. Played for us for a couple of years just after Lewis. So I didn't get the privilege of watching Lewis in the Borough shirt. So looking forward to seeing him in action next season. Yeah, very, very good signing. Plenty of experience under his belt. I believe he's played over 100 games for Horsham, played over 100 games for us. So he'll walk in as the highest Borough appearance maker. Unfortunately for you, Freddie, you've dropped down to second. But I'm sure if you stay long enough, you'll overtake Lewis age on your side. But yeah, great keeper. Had a pretty quiet couple of games against us, really, last season. Also, he played them twice. We lost 2-0 both times, and I can't remember him making a save. So, yeah, we haven't actually seen his shot-stopping ability for a while. But Horsham fans were gutted to see him go. They really, really like him. I've heard he can play out well with his feet, which, again, like I said earlier, will be a big part of Steve's thinking. And he's very commanding goalkeeper. You can hear him from the other end of the pitch. So, yeah, looking forward to welcoming Lewis back to the club.
Yeah, and I'm sure, very familiar face, and I'm sure a lot of people will be glad to see him back, or will, like to see him back. We then move into Zach Tarrant, someone who was with us, come through the Borough Academy. Obviously, something that Steve likes about him. We
Yep.
might be able to ask him that question later on. Came off the bench for us a couple of times last year,
hmm
and got a goal in the Senior Cup there against Horsham YMCA. Yeah, what's your thinking on Zach?
Yeah, obviously he's coming in as sort of we've got quite a few strikers in the books now. We've both Omateo and Nash and McQueen can play there, etc. So you've got lots of options. So it would definitely be coming in as sort of third or fourth choice, which is absolutely fine for a player of his experience and his age. Just a bit like Hayden, really a good opportunity for him to step into a club that's hopefully going to be up the next season. Playing with a lot of experienced players around him. I'm sure we'll learn a lot off the likes of Nash and Mateo as a young striker. Still quite raw in terms of his ability. We saw he had an eye for a goal, wasn't afraid to shoot, even though it was in a senior cup game. Took his goal well. If I remember rightly as well, he had a great chance and hit the bar, went very, very close against Hemel Hempstead away last season as well in a league game. So it's sort of a bit like a Will Harley role, I guess, from when Will was with us. Imagine he'll get a lot of minutes in the Senior Cup, maybe a bit off the bench here and there, but just a chance for him to develop. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out on loan to Issuing South East, county prem side, just to help his development, really. But yeah, good to have him on board. I've seen a bit of promise from last season.
Yeah, and good to have the youngsters coming through the academy. I mean, that's obviously what it's there for.
Yeah.
And no doubt, obviously, the drop in league has helped that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But look, if that can help us, I've always thought that with players, there's a big thing about what I call playing man's football. And these youngsters when they start playing in these blood and thunder games, and we're going to have a lot of them this year because obviously a lot of the rivals are going to be old rivals coming back, your Whitehawks, your Lewises, your Burgess Hills. So there's going to be a lot of, a lot going on this year. And, if he's about, I'm sure he is going to learn an awful lot in this season. And then, of course, we move on to Darren McQueen. Doesn't really need a lot of talking about, really. Played numerous National League South clubs. Won the playoff final with Hornchurch last year. And yeah, he's played under Steve before. Obviously, Steve fancied having him back, and he's gone and got his man. So, what's your thinking on Darren?
Like you say, no introduction needed for anyone that's followed the National League South or non-league game for even the last few years, but a good number of years. Played at plenty of clubs. Like I remember him at Dartford. Played at Hornchurch obviously last season as well. Plenty of experience. He also came through from sort of higher clubs. So back in the day when he was much younger, he got spotted by Ipswich from Tottenham. So he's clearly got a lot of talent. Useful player to have in terms of he can play a few different positions as well. Got that experience of what it takes to get out of leagues with winning the playoff final last season with Hornchurch. They seem to speak really highly of him. I always read through what clubs sort of announcements that the players are departing and read what the fans have to say. It's generally a good gauge of how people feel about a player. There wasn't really a bad word to say about him on and off the pitch as well. I must say, not a lot of fans or comment on how a player is personally, but they seem to be really fond of him. So that's great. Hopefully he'll fit in well with the boys and the fans. I'm sure he will. Lots of talent, lots of pace, explosiveness. Just hope we keep him fit. So yeah, really positive signing and great stuff really. And we have got a few departures as well to talk about as well, Baz. I believe a couple of players left as well. So should we move on to those two?
Go on.
Starting off with if I go in chronological order, Maxwell Mullins leaving the club. It hasn't been announced where he's gone to yet. It just says that he's left the club, so I'm not sure exactly what the contractual circumstance of that one was. But yeah, a player was. I think many fans didn't really know exactly where he fitted into the plans. Like we were putting together, or Joe puts together the Excel spreadsheet of where all the players might play and what squad depth's like, and it was sort of like, oh, I think Mullins might be on the right, but we're not 100% convinced. So yeah, he's a player that we couldn't quite work out. I think it's fair to say. He had plenty of pace. He was very direct. But I think struggled to have quality in key moments, and his technical ability sort of couldn't quite keep up with speed sometimes, a bit like Bamba. Obviously Bamba's of a higher quality than Mullins, I think that's fair to say, given he's just got his move to Newport County, which is really great for him. But yeah, with Mullins, it's a real one because there's definitely a player in there somewhere, but it's just in terms of him getting, I don't know, it all together to make smooth and consistent. So yeah, no, obviously we wish Mullins well. Scored a couple of goals for us, even though I had a pop at him about 2 months ago for slightly exaggerating those figures. But that's all in the past now, eh? So hopefully he moves on to a club that treats him well. Just actually saying that, it's just come to mind who he signed for. It's been a long day and I'm very hot. It's Hampton and Richmond Borough. It's just popped into my head that he's gone to there. So he's staying in National League South. So be interested to see how he gets on there for the Beavers. What's your thoughts on that one then, Baz, with Mullins
Yeah, I
Mullins
mean,
going?
when he came to us, obviously he'd been playing up at Aldershot, hadn't he, at the
Yeah.
back, and he wanted to play up front and whatever else. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, but it was one of my um, it was one of my worries really in the fact that we was. I mean, obviously Tommy had worked with him before, um, but you know, I just think when a player dictates, it doesn't. You're giving the player, and I'm not saying that Tommy didn't want to try him up front. He might have seen something anyway, and he might have fancied him up front. But it was
Hmm.
just the way that it was kind of worded when he came into the club that he's moving because he wants to play in a different position. And I know it. I know it got us talking on numerous car journeys about what his best position was and whether he was the front man that we needed. But look,
Yeah.
he's moved on. I think I think the thing is that there's probably a lot of players, or a number of players that you know, for me, they're in that position now. Look, we don't know the contracts. We don't know what players, what money players are on, what contracts they're on, and whatever else. But there's certain players that are probably signed for an extra season that are probably by the time they signed, I wouldn't have said Maxwell was one of them because he was quite early. But certainly some of the later players, probably signed, and I mean, I'm not sure if there was a clause in there for relegation, but we've gone down to part time now, and if there's not a
Hmm.
clause in there that took their money down if we went down to part time, um, it's a big investment. It's a big investment, and I think let's be fair, we've gone out and signed players, and I think this is the biggest thing that I've seen. I'm not so worried about the players we've lost. Obviously, they're players I'd like to have kept. I'd like to, Quickie to have stayed. Different players that I would have liked to have seen in a Borough shirt again next year. But I'm not that bothered about what we've lost because of what we've gained. And obviously, the players that are coming in now are coming in on part-time contracts. We're a part-time club, so that helps the club. But I still think that there's an investment. I don't see players with the likes of Darren and players like that. I don't see them coming in. I know they played part time. They played part time. They don't want to play full time, or some of them can't play full time. And I think this is where we as a club now become one of the top clubs on the part-time spectrum for
Yeah.
players to play for.
Hmm.
When we were full-time, there was a project which raised us a little bit higher, and you would have thought there were players that wanted to come to us because of the project, wanted to come to us because of the investment that's put in for player welfare and stuff like that with the medical facilities that we're going to have and stuff like that. So you would have thought that there's players that made us a bit higher on their spectrum for that, but we still were one of the lower full time clubs. We saw the year before, whatever the reasons for Adam leaving, whatever the reasons for that team disbanding, we saw a number of players going from our league to higher leagues. And I'm a taxi driver. When I first became a taxi driver, I was doing my job for about 7 years, I think it was 6 or 7 years, and I decided to go to London, and I was going to do the knowledge, because for me, the most knowledgeable taxi driver in the world is a black cabbie. So my chosen profession was a cabbie. I wanted to be the highest level I could. I wanted to play at the highest level in cabin that I could. And yeah, that's it. So I think with the players, I'm not disappointed about what we've lost because of what we're gaining. Although there are players that I would have liked to have seen in a Borough shirt.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No. Yeah, in a roundabout way. In a roundabout way. I know what you mean. Speaking of, yeah, no. You explain it with an anecdote, which I like. With a player we would like to see in the Borough show next season. I think for most of the fan base was Tate Trusty. He left. It was announced start of July. He's going to be moving to Halifax Town, or FC Halifax Town, I should say. Have they what's the word I'm looking for? They dissolved and then came back to life. Phoenix Club, that's the one. So they each joined FC Halifax Town for an undisclosed fee, so we got a bit of money for him. Tate was a player that played every game, I believe, in some capacity. Obviously, he didn't play every minute, but every game in the league last season. He played in multiple different positions he's not comfortable in playing. Like he played left centre back, he played left back, he played right back, he played CDM, he played centre mids. I think he was on the wing at one point. He played everywhere for us. Unfortunately, didn't score for us, but he was always very industrious. Got about the pitch well. Always looked like he cared as well. Telly's a good lad. I haven't really got much of a bad word to say about Tate really. I feel like he'd been a useful player, more than useful player to have in the Ishmael Premier League next season. I'm sure Kingy has got an eye on a replacement for him. He would have provided great energy for us. Obviously, we've got some great midfielders coming in now. We've still got Eastman, we've got Reese, etc. Grout, but I feel like Tate's. I don't want to use the comparison, but in terms of that energy in midfield, you're looking at like an Elliot Anderson, Bellingham sort of. You know what I mean? He'll get back in, even though he just crashed the box. He'd get back in and he'd put the tackle in or slow the play down. He's very physical like that, so I think he's got loads of great attributes to have as a player. Reliable, versatile, etc. Lots of quality. And also at times last season, I don't think we really saw the best out of Tate. I was one of his bigger defenders amongst the fan base because he played under a system under Matt Gray. I don't think suited him whatsoever with the ball going, up to the moon sometimes and coming back. I don't think that suited him. And then under Tommy, he was sort of used as an industry player because of injuries, etc. Which obviously it's not Tommy's fault. Players getting injured, but he wasn't using his best position. I wish Tate well. Hopefully, he gets a solid run of games in the National League and pushes his career on. So, that was the player news. And then we're going to go to our sponsor now, Baz. So I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, so just a quick word from our sponsors at Polegate Car Sales. Here they are.
Hi guys, I'm Gary. I'm the owner of Polegate Car Sales. If you're looking to buy or sell your vehicle anywhere in the country, I am your man. We're open 7 days a week. Sunday is appointment only, but Ben works 6 till 10 any hour God sends. We look forward to seeing you soon.
So thanks to Gary down there at Polegate Car Sales, and we're now joined by our boss, our manager, our gaffer, or whatever we're going to call him, Steve King. Welcome to the podcast, Steve.
Evening, Barry and Miles.
Evening, mate.
So
good to have you on.
So breaking news as well, Miles. You've just told us that Arthur Ferry has won his quarterfinal and is now in the semi-finals of Wimbledon.
That is right. Yeah, he's the Great British wild card, and he's managed to get all the way to the semi-finals. So well done to Arthur, and I believe he's playing. I can't do pronunciation, but the German guy Zverev's. I don't know how you say it, but the guy Alexander Zverev's, something like that.
That
Steve's shaking his head, but I'll take it.
I'm sure. Yeah, so I'm sure there's some tennis people that are going to. Anyway, we're not here to talk about tennis. We're here to talk.
No,
about football.
that's a rubbish sport compared to football.
So, Steve, obviously back at the club now for a few months. You came in towards the end of last season, no doubt with the plan of the future and this season in mind, whatever league we're in. Obviously, that the landscape's changed a bit now. The relegation and whatever else, and we've moved into a lower league, and we've gone down to being part time. So, tell us how that's affected you at the club, and give us like a week in the life of Steve King. How what's your what do you do during the week?
Not a lot changes for me, as in apart from obviously going in training every day. We don't do that now. It's just 2 evenings a week. We started back last week. We moved the training away from Eastbourne's stadium. Obviously, we're laying a new pitch at the moment. But apart from that, we felt we've moved the training away because getting people down to Eastbourne 3 times a week is quite a difficult gig for a lot of people have found out. Probably less for me, but it still would have been a tough ask as well. So what we decided to do was take the training to Tunbridge. We used Tunbridge Angels Football Club because they've gone to mornings now, Tunbridge. So we just took their evening slots. So it happened quite quick, and it fitted everything that we wanted to do. So players coming from Kent, playing from London, Surrey, Sussex, it's all within an hour and 15 minutes of most people. So it made proper sense, really, which is great. Like I said, we've been back. We've done 3 sessions now. Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
And then on the days that we're not in, we give them programs to do their own thing, which they have to send in details of that, what they've done, and it goes into the analyst and who looks at stuff. So we're trying to keep as active as we can on the days off as well as when we're in there together. So sort of during the week I'm at the club. I go down and sit with Alan, have cups of tea, talk about things, discuss things that's going on with the club. I try and do that 3 or 4 times a week, sort of to keep my face around the club. I've been there for the England games as well, and talking to all the fans and that. So it's all pointing, going in the right direction. We've got I can put it. We've got the way we do things is very much. I'll find the players. I'll pick the squad and I'll pick the team, and then Alan does the deals. So it's brilliant. It's working fantastic. We've got a very very good strong relationship, and it's over. Every time I sort of find a player, I'll give him to Alan. He goes and does the deal. It's done. So we haven't really missed out on any. Maybe one player we've missed out on, but that's football. So we've hit more or less all of our targets. It's been a lot of negotiation, because I like to get people from higher levels, and that's I've always done it my whole career. So can we get players better than level to try and get back out of the level?
Yeah. And we were just saying, so when we spoke about the players, we were talking about players that have departed, and obviously players that have come in, and I've said it numerous times on the pod now, where because we're a part-time club, we're actually one of the highest ranking in my eyes part-time football clubs. So we're picking from the best part-time players, whereas when we were a full-time club, we had obviously we've got the project, and we've got what Simon and Alan were trying to do with the club, with the medical facilities and trying to build the club and the journey that the club was on. So that would have raised us a little bit, but we still weren't going to be competing with National League and EFL clubs for players. So we were at the lower end for me of the full time players, and I think that's worked well. And I think you can see that in the quality that you've signed in, the quality that you've brought in. Obviously, your little black book's been floating around, and yeah, we're pleased with what we've seen. Miles, you want to say something?
I think that was probably evident from you picking up likes of Josh Reese. I think Josh Reese, I don't want to single out any player in particular as being our sort of star man, but he was the one that was like, oh wow, okay, that's a serious signing, that is. A lot of people have followed non-league for a lot of years. We know from Boreham Wood and did some great things at Dagenham and last season from Hornchurch. And I think we benefited a lot from the Hornchurch situation, similar to when we went full-time and lost people like James Hammond, Leon Gravata, etc. Well, actually, Leon Gravata stayed in the end, but now has gone part-time with Horsham. But yeah, there's those sort of players that have other jobs, etc., like Josh Reese, like Darren McQueen. And I imagine they wouldn't have come to us unless Hornchurch got promoted, so they benefited a lot from that. I imagine, Steve.
I bet. I mean, Josh still had a contract for next year as well.
Oh,
So
right, okay.
he wasn't out of contract. He still had a contract, and Darren McQueen was offered another contract.
Okay.
So we've actually
The
in
pool
a
of Eastbourne and you.
find them to come over, but they were going to leave because what definitely Josh was, because he can't do full time.
Yeah.
Darren's was a separate entity, but yeah, I mean, I think what I've tried to do, if you look at the group from last year, obviously we let 21 players go. We kept 9 contracted players. 2 have moved on since, one to Hampton and 1 we've sold recently.
Yeah.
So left us sort of 7. What we've tried to do is get a spine of men, I'd like to say it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And not young boys.
Mm-hmm.
To set that cornerstone of having a spine through the team. And if you look at what we've signed, Lewis Carey won the league the year before, the same league we're in. Elliot Johnson just back-to-back promotions, has won countless promotions with Dagenham and Barnet. Phipps has won promotions. You got even young Matthew Hayden, obviously won the league with Brighton, or the playoffs. They're recently when they beat West Ham, he was part of that squad. Again, Max, double promotion, back-to-back promotion at Hendersford. He's very, very experienced. Obviously, Josh was countless promotion player as well. So, there's the team is full of people that know how to win and know what it's like to win, and don't accept anything less. So, whereas I felt last year, you're leaving a player out, he left him out. He didn't care. He didn't knock on my door ever. None of them. So I think leaving a few of these out at times, they'd be knocking on my door saying, "Gaffer, what's going on?" So
Well, that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, characters
People want to play.
Yeah, we bought in the club. So,
yeah, you said as well that you felt a bit sorry for sort of Eastman last season because he's of that ilk, isn't he? Player that drives standards in the team, wants to play. Obviously, been there and done it at a higher level. So it's great we've got hopefully 6, 7, 8, 9 Eastmans next season because he was a credit to the club last year.
Yeah, I mean we've got different assets. We've got different criteria of players. We've got a lot more pace in the team, athleticism in the team. Nash scored over 100 goals in this level. Darren McQueen has had promotions. Just got promoted. Played in the playoff finals with me a couple of times. So you've got different array of players, and then obviously we've got a couple of young players that we've invested in that we feel are can make a major impact this year. Jarno and Owen Bellamy, and obviously Zach's got his own pathway. Zach's a young one coming through, so we see potential in him. But that's potential that we need to try and get out throughout, the coming season, whatever way we tend to do that. But we certainly got, with Owen Bellamy and Tiano, the pace in them two will frighten the life out of people.
Yeah, it's exciting to see him, and you keep a level head from what I can tell. We know from speaking to you and watching your interviews, etc. But how excited are you for this season? Like, you must be feeling excited now. It gets to the near pre-season, and it's only like a month today, isn't it? So, our first game, I believe, 8th of August, I think. So, how excited are you for the season coming up?
Well, we got obviously first game Saturday, which will be nice.
Yep.
We're still 4 players short. We're still 4 players short that we will bring in.
Okay.
And they would be sort of marquee players, players that people will be like, okay, something going on down there.
I like it. Nice.
It won't be no sort of unknown, really.
Yeah. Okay.
there may be. We'll see. We're in for
Wait,
some.
watch this space. Yeah, watch
Yeah,
this space. Sounds
we're in,
exciting though.
we're in some very good players. So,
Yeah.
but the kind of people I go for, they want step one first, and if they can't
Okay.
get step, they go step two, etc. So
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
that I'm talking to at the moment,
Yeah.
trying to convince it's the right project, the right place, and all that. But we'll see. As long as we got them in the building within a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be over the moon with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, Miles has just touched on we're a month away from the season. Obviously, your first pre-season game is on Saturday, which obviously you'll be looking forward to, and you'll be looking to see how the players are going to play together and stuff like that in actual matches. But you must, the same as I have, Steve. You've looked around this league and you've thought there's a lot of old foes that we're going back to. Obviously, you was involved with some of them, like at Lewis and stuff like that. But as much as relegation, I was disappointed last year to go down. We've always been a part of that National League South setup. That little part of me is looking forward to going back to Lewis and going back to Whitehawk and going up to Burgess Hill and places like that and seeing grounds that I haven't seen for a long time. Or not as regular. What games are you really looking forward to? What ones are lighting Steve King's fire at the moment?
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? I mean, I managed to watch 10 of the teams in that division last year towards the end because I kind of realised what was happening pretty quickly. So I got out to see the sort of top 10 in that division just to see what they were about and where we would need to be if the inevitable happened. Obviously, I kind of knew that was happening. But for me, obviously, my own personal thing is there's five of my own personal derbies in there.
Yeah.
With Dartford, Welling, Whitehawk, Lewis, Dulwich, where I started my career. So it's from that personal thing. There's all of the above, and I had great relationships with every single club, fan bases. So they're good, but they're all going to be a challenge. Everybody's going to want to beat us. That's for sure. And one thing I've seen 3 sides already in this division in the last week, and they can all run, they can all compete, and they can all challenge, but they just don't have that little bit extra quality that I've seen with the quality that we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I again, that's something else I've said. Because of where we've been for the last 20 years, we are going to be everyone's cup final. Everyone's going to want to come and beat Eastbourne Borough because of the whole the journey story and whatever else. They're going to look at us as one of the big clubs, one of the favourites for the league, and obviously that poses its own challenges in itself, doesn't it? Because even them teams at the bottom of the league that you should be beating quite easily are going to come to you and they're going to play out of their skins, right? So that's a challenge for you to get that right and for the players as well, yeah?
Yeah, there won't be no easy games. Like I said, everyone can challenge, everyone can run as hard as you, everyone can jump, everyone can tackle. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of luck in winning leagues as well. Injury free. There's luck involved with winning leagues, but you think over the course of a league, the whole season, it doesn't lie at the end. But I'm not sitting here for 1 minute saying, "Oh, we're going to walk the league, we're going to do this." But we're going to be one of the challengers. We just have to accept that we're going to be one of the challengers. I mean, there's some good teams in there. Chatham are a good side. They're full time. They're the only full time team in the division. They got good resources as well. They get good fans. They're getting average around 2,000 fans. I've been there when there's 4,000 fans this year. So they have got the potential to be trying to win it as well. Ramsgate's another one. Again, potential's there. There's a number of clubs that have got the potential to. It's not going to be a foregiven conclusion we're going to win the league. So I know we'll be one of the runners and riders for sure, and so we should be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to be a stroll in the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How much priority you placed on the cups as well? Because also we're in 4 cups next season, so that's gonna be tough to balance, I guess, squad load and priorities around that.
Yeah, I mean, FA Cup is the main one for me.
Of course, yeah.
We'd love to, I love Cup. I've been managed to have some good times in that fourth round, third round, second round, a couple of times, first round a few times. So it's good. It's good. It puts the club on the map. It's financially rewarding. Players can pit their wits against high opposition. All of the above really. So if you're lucky enough to get the TV games, it's good. It's good. But I've also been tripped up the same way as well. Doing well in cup competitions and then affecting league performances. So there's definitely a balancing act. And the trophy, yeah, it's third in line, isn't it? And the Sussex Cup around the sort of same sort of figure. And then I'm not sure about the Philosophy Cup whether we would. I think we got a choice whether we're entering into that or not. So I don't know what
Okay.
whether we go young in that
Yeah.
or what. We'll cross that bridge, but I think it'd be very difficult for this whole squad to play in 60 games this year.
Yeah, it's not the priority, is it really?
Priority is the league, full stop.
Yeah.
The FA. It'd be nice to have a cup run. I do like the FA Cup.
Of course. And I think we'd love to see a cup run too. So, yeah, all good. So, obviously, talking about the cups, we cannot kind of end this without talking about the World Cup and the big game Saturday. The pre-season friend. No, not the pre-season friend. England against Norway, obviously Saturday night in the quarterfinals. Steve, have you been watching much of the World Cup, and what do you think?
Been watching as much as I can, to be honest. Yeah, hit and miss, up and down. Yeah, I think it's been good. I think all the big players have come to town, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that's good for the competition. I think we'll beat Norway, but it won't be easy. Haaland don't even touch the ball, and then he just touches it and scores. So we're well aware of that massive threat, but we got threats ourselves. So I'd like to think that we'd win that game. I wouldn't comfortably. I would say tough game. Yeah.
Did you wake up for the game on Monday?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Top fan, love that.
Yeah, I ended up. I was going out to watch it. I got to the pub, and then when it got delayed for an hour, I thought no. So I came home and I actually dozed off for the first goal, and I woke up and they said that Jude Bellingham had scored. It's 1-0, and then I opened my eyes and I was watching what I thought was a replay, and then all of a sudden, of course, he scores again, and it's like, it's 2-0, and I'm like, what's happened there? Like, but
blink and you miss it literally
because I'd just woken up. It was like I thought I was watching a replay of the goal, especially when Bellingham gets it again. So and then I was up for the rest of it. So yeah,
it was a funny story there because I tried to sign Jude Bellingham's dad when I was at Farnborough.
wow, okay.
He was a top striker, Leamington at the time, and he scored something like 59 goals in 60 games or something ridiculous. And I tried to get him, spoke to him, and I said, come to Farnborough and all that. And he said, Kingy, I can't. I'm a policeman, and I wouldn't. It would be too far, and So we just left it. But yeah, I remember trying to sign.
Amazing. What a story.
Wow. Yeah. So and obviously, and then if we do that expected semi-final against probably Argentina, who I thought, I don't know, did anybody watch that game last night?
Saw the second half.
All over. I thought it was all over. Egypt 2-0 up, cruising really, and I think that is the sort of spirit that any football manager would want to see in his team, because that last 10 minutes Argentina weren't going to die, right? They weren't going to go out. It's their World Cup and they wanted it back.
I think if there's any, I think we've got a great path to get to the final. I'll be honest. Norway, I think potentially we'll beat Norway, and I think we'll beat Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we've got Argentina, aren't they? Like, you don't concede twice to Cape Verde, twice to Egypt if you haven't got frailties. So, obviously, they've got quality. No one's denying that. But I think if you'd rather play them or Spain or France, you definitely pick Argentina.
I think France will win it, to be honest.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
France are frightening, really. Um, but look, if we can get to the final and play them in the final, then
it,
yeah,
it's been good. It's been good down at the
all
club as well. To be honest, I've watched the games all there, all the England games there. It's been
Nice.
right.
really good. There's been a lot of people there, and they had the fan
Yeah,
zone out. The
I've
fan zone
seen
out
some of
back.
the yeah, I've seen some of the it looks good down there. I mean, I go local because obviously I'm in Helsham and I always go to the same place. So, but yeah, it's looked good. It's looked good. Look like especially Monday night there was a few in there as well. So,
Yeah, no,
sorry,
uh,
the Saturday night before.
yeah.
Um,
I think it'd be good this Saturday because we do the game at Eastbourne United, and then after the
Yeah,
game, head back to Eastbourne Borough. And
yeah,
people get some food and that, and then have a drink, and then the game's on at is it 10 o'clock? I think.
10 p.m.
yeah,
Yeah.
10 o'clock, 10
Yeah,
o'clock
I
kick
think
off. No,
it'd be a good night, and I think get yourself down to Eastbourne. Not you because you like I said you go Outram, but
yeah,
get
well,
yourself.
I'm working as well, so I'm working till sort of 8, half 8, and then literally dive in the club. So before they're full up. I mean, I know a lot of places are full already. They're doing bookings only, and they're full already. But yeah, and I think it's helping the close season, isn't it? I mean, having such a good run. But I mean, I still think the moment of this World Cup is Harry Kane's interview the other day when he lost his voice, and I don't know if you've seen the clip with Rooney and Micah Richards and that
Yeah,
in the
I
studio.
think
It's absolutely fantastic, and hearty, and yeah. So, but look, that to me shows that not only had Harry Kane, obviously with the altitude and stuff like that, the breathing's a little bit different. We'd heard all about that, but he'd given everything he could on the pitch, and then he'd given everything he could with Wonderwall, and the poor boy just lost his voice, didn't he?
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
he didn't have nothing there, and yeah. So
All
yeah,
timer.
it's one of them.
Before we go though, speaking of the Eastbourne United game and then just pre-season as a whole, Steve. First of all, what are you expecting from Saturday, and then secondly, what was the rationale behind the opponents we've picked? Because we've got Eastbourne United, then we've got Haywards Heath, Dover, Eastbourne Town, Woking. I think that's the full roster.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing we couldn't get no games at home because of the pitch.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
We
yeah.
managed to get that one in on the first, which would be Jermaine Defoe bringing his team down, which would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Be nice. Yeah, it was pretty late on everything really. We just sort of got people coming to us for the games rather than us going to people for games. So
Right.
I think next year you'll see a different opponents if that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've got in there and set the stall out and all that, and I think we'll see a different caliber of opponents next season. But this pre-season we got what we got, and we give them all the respect that they deserve, and it was just kind of slowly, really.
Yeah.
Build it up, build it up, build it up. So we wanted to have at least 10 sessions between now and the start of the season. So it's worked out that way. So normally I maybe have one or two more games, but I think it's worked out okay on this occasion.
Yeah. There's a few good tests in there as well, with Dover
Yeah,
obviously being league above, and as you say, Jermaine
and
Defoe's Woking, and
Tunbridge
yeah,
and work
yeah.
with a little bit lighter first, and then
Oh yeah,
the hard.
Tunbridge as well, isn't it? Of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, we've got plenty of good tests in there, haven't we?
yeah.
Really.
So the tests will
Yeah.
come towards the end of the month, really, and
Hmm.
hopefully we'll have them extra 4 bodies in as well. That make a difference because
Yeah.
we can't really afford to flog the boys. I'll be
Nah.
honest. We've got
Nah.
trialists in that. We've got a number of trialists in at the moment, so
Okay.
people will see them on at the weekend.
Hmm.
And I think one or two of the trialists, to be honest, have got a chance.
Yeah.
So
Nice. That's
we
good.
we may not get what we want. One, the higher players that we're after. So it gives opportunities for other people as well. So
Yeah. Sort of like a non-football question as well, just about the squad in general. Because obviously it's a new put together squad. We've got obviously a few players that have stayed, but a lot of new additions. How's like the group morale? Have you done anything at all, like as a group, like non-football related, like meals out activities, that sort of thing, just to get them bonding at all?
not at the moment.
No.
Yeah, because we've only been back a week, so
Yeah, of course.
there's a lot of things that we're doing that is not normal for part time. So
Hmm.
we're almost behaving like full time, but we're part time. So
Yeah.
they don't just say, "Oh, we come in Tuesday, Thursday, and that's us done."
Hmm.
There's countless work going on through the week with them and communications and programs that they've been all set their own programs, which has been set by the S&Q coach. So they've all got their own special to related to what they've been doing and where they've been coming in their runs, etc. So it's done properly.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, and I think there's a
Super.
lot to be said for that because what what I call footballers that want to win the game of football. They're gonna put that extra bit of training in when they're not at work, right? Because they want to be fit. They want to be. They want to be in your squad. And like you
yeah,
say, there's going to be players that are knocking on the door saying, "Why am I not in Gaffer?"
yeah,
And your answer to them might be, "Well, actually, on your days off, you're not doing enough. I need to see a little bit more out of you." And then they go and work that little bit harder. And I know Mark White said, like they had a very hybrid approach at Dorking. And when we were talking to him, he said that, I don't need them in. He said, because at the end of the day, they're footballers and that's their job. They want to be fit. They want to, so they'll do they do their own stuff. Um, and no football club is not going to monitor that, right? It's not like the old days when I used to play, when, you turned up on a Tuesday and Thursday and did your hour and a half. But yeah,
yeah.
so no, it's good, and I think we've spoken already before. Something you highlighted on earlier was the move into Tunbridge, which I think was a great idea. We all know that road from Tunbridge down to Eastbourne is a nightmare. The A22 is a nightmare. Anywhere getting into Eastbourne's a nightmare. So, but by taking that last hour or 45 minutes out of someone's journey, you know, it's not just an hour because they've got to go back that hour as well. So you're taking 2 hours off them, and it's that's a big thing when you're signing players. So hats off to all at the club that come up with that because it is good.
I think
And
that I noticed as well, Barry, is that it's I didn't know what went on at the club. As in, I just looked from afar. I used to go to the games, watch the games, and then come away. I didn't, before. But now being at the club, I understand how the mechanics are trying to work there, and people like Alan and Kim, they are there like almost feels like 24/7 to run the club. They do immense amount of work there that you don't even see. John Bonner's there all the time. There's a lot going on, and they're trying to move the club forward, and they actually love the club, and it's I didn't know the amount, like I said, the amount that I see goes on, and I'm thinking, wow, this is a proper engine, it's a proper machine. Everyone's not going to get everything right all the time. It just doesn't work like that. Life's not like that. But I can see the work that
100%.
goes. I can see that work that goes in at that club. It's unbelievable by a lot of people.
Yeah. And I'm similar. I mean, I've been down there, over the course of the last sort of 2 or 3 seasons since the new ownership came in, and I've seen a lot of what goes on down there. And I think there are people that don't see that. Everyone's not going to see eye to eye all the time. Of course, they're not. That we're human beings, right? But at the end of the day, we need to just accept that we all want the best for Eastbourne Borough Football Club. If we didn't, we wouldn't spend our time sitting here talking to people, and chewing the fat over the club. People wouldn't be working at the club. You wouldn't be managing the club, because it's not about, and especially with you at the club, to me, it's not about money. It's not about you. You've applied for this job a hell of a number of times, and to me, now you've got the job. You're going to work that little bit harder, that little bit extra. And I said this when they appointed you. I like your style of football. You play that quick, attacking game. I like the way that you've got the passion for the club. And I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here on the podcast now. I've said this before, and I've said this to you. When we were chatting outside bloody laundrette that time, you know, and I'm saying to you, I'd love to see you at the club. It happened, and so, you know, yeah, and there is a lot goes on at the club, and no doubt you're putting that extra bit in as well.
And people don't see
so,
what I do. There's managers that don't even go to games. There's managers that just get stuff off of analysts or get stuff off of Y Scout and all that. I'm out 100 games a year, and it doesn't matter. I've been in the game. I still get that. I need to go and see the opponent. I need to go and see the players. I don't like Y Scout or YouTube and all that. Watching those, I have to go and see it in person. I've always been like that, and that will never stop to the day I give up, because I believe in your eyes are your best judge. And
100%, and you see so much different. I mean, you know, I'm an Eastbourne Borough fan, but I'm a West Ham fan, and you know, I've
Says it all.
I got a double relegation, right? But there's a guy called Martin Key. We're gonna actually have him on the podcast. He's gonna come on at some point. He's an Eastbourne Borough fan. He's a West Ham fan, and he moved out to Spain, and he watches Girona out there, and they got relegated and all. So he got 3 relegations, right? So I'm all right with my 2. I'm quite happy with that. And to be fair, I think both whoever went down out of Tottenham and West Ham in the Premier League, I think both deserve to go down. And if I'm honest, I'm probably pleased that we did, because it's reset the club. You know, it's caused Sullivan to probably go a little bit quicker than he was going to go at the club, and it gives us a chance to reset, which I think is probably what we're doing as Eastbourne Borough as well. It gives us a chance to reset, to look forward and say, right, this is the plan now. And listen, right, I've got West Ham, who are going to be one of the favourites for the Championship. I've got Eastbourne Borough, who are going to be one of the favourites for the Eastman. I'm going to see some games that we're going to win next year, right? Both my teams, and we're going to win some games. So, all the disappointment last season, we get some good stuff going on this year. So, but what I was going to say there about being a West Ham fan was, I saw a lot in Declan Rice that I saw, you know, when people said, "Oh, Arsenal have wasted their money on him," I was like, "No, you have not," because when I used to go and watch the games, you're not watching like the telly, you're not watching where the ball is, and if you watch Declan Rice off the ball, you know, if ever you get a chance to watch a player cam of him, he's constantly scanning. He's not looking where the ball is. He's constantly scanning, trying to work out where that player is going to be. So when he gets the ball, he knows where to play it without looking. And that to me is a sign of a great football player. And so, you know, yeah, I think when he signed for Arsenal, it was disappointing that he'd left West Ham, but he was always going to leave West Ham. He went and he won the league in 2 years and played in the Champions League final. You know, people said that he should have gone to a big club. Well, I mean, he didn't make a bad decision, did he?
No, he was a hell of a player.
Yeah. So anyway, Steve, thanks for giving us your time tonight. Thanks for coming on. Good luck on Saturday. We'll all be down there if we can. Obviously, Eastbourne United against Eastbourne Borough, first pre-season friendly, and then back to the clubhouse afterwards to hopefully watch England win their match against Norway. So yeah, and through to hopefully a semi-final for the World Cup. So yeah, thanks for coming on tonight, Steve.
No problem, Barry. Cheers, Miles.
And
thank you, Steve.
Catch up with you guys soon.
Yes,
yeah, and
we
we will see you all soon.
Cheers.